New Zealand First MP, Party Whip Jamie Arbuckle, gets in the headlines for suggesting he's going to keep 2 jobs and 2 salaries. And a lot of people criticising that, coming out and saying, well, you shouldn't be doing that. And then 12 hours later, he gives it all. New Zealand First press release comes out saying, look, Jamie's going to resign from one job that he's been in for decades, and he's going to donate any and all of the money he's got from that job and will receive from that job to charity. I can't wrap my head around what the problem is here. Somebody who might be able to shed some light on the situation is someone who knows what MPs do and someone who knows what councillors do, and that person is former New Zealand First MP, former Minister of Defence and Mayor of Carterton, Ron Mark. Can you hear me, Ron?
Loud and clear, Ben. How you going?
Good, and I can hear you. You're not going to believe the morning I've had, Ron, or we've had here at the platform.
Oh, mate, I don't know what's going on, but we're a lot of complaints from constituents around Wairarapa, around Carterton district anyway, that cell phone coverage for some reason.
So it's not just us. Okay, a lot of complaints around the Carterton district going, we can't get the platform this morning. What's going on?
No, they say they can't talk to each other on and off, and I just had a phone call with my neighbour, and I mean, he's only like 1 kilometre from me, and it was like, I thought he was on maybe in snowy mountains in Australia or something. It was really,
okay, well, I mean, this sounds all right. So we're going to proceed. We're going to try and do this. We'll go for as long as we can. Ron, has Jamie Arbuckle done anything wrong?
Look, I don't think so. Look, this is a classic case, and I'm so impressed that Platform, you in particular, are looking at both sides of this and sort of scratching your head, because this is a typical example of where media, certain mainstream media, like to beat up on something because it's populist and it's great, and there's always going to be those New Zealanders out there who suffer political envy or financial envy or just whatever, who just think that working 2 jobs is appalling. Hey, guess what? There's a hell of a lot of people in this country right now holding down 2 and 3
Yeah, but exactly. I just don't see what's so unique about it. I mean, it would seem to me that plenty of councillors have 2 jobs.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest problem in this country is for some people, particularly on the left, and particularly those who want to attack, those MPs on the right for, earning too much money, having too many investments. I wish they'd just focus on the Kiwis who don't want to work. I love meeting people who've got 2 jobs, 3 jobs, who are working their asses off. And let's be clear, Jamie and his family have been in business. He's worked from the ground up. He's done it the hard way. He's not a slacker. He's a bloody worker. And, what one person out there can achieve and do in 24 hours is not necessarily what other people do. And probably a lot of the whingers and moaners you're hearing of out there probably are not like Jamie. They don't, put themselves, their assets, their homes, their reputation on the line to build a business out of nothing. He's been a public servant and been a councillor for quite some time, and by all accounts from everything I've heard from in the Nelson Marlborough area, he's always done a bloody good job. I myself hold down about 3 jobs on top of being a mayor.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, Ron. You've been a councillor and an MP simultaneously, is that right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I resigned the mayoralty because when I went back to government, I was preparing for that. I was planning to stand again. I'd indicated to people that when I was standing the second time for the mayoralty in 2013, that I had replace a succession plan. And I got my successor elected unopposed. But of course, him being a councillor, that generated a by-election. I think that's where Jamie's been caught tooks and tween, and it's one of those things where someone sets out with all the good intent, doesn't want to cause a by-election, doesn't want to cost ratepayers $150 or $100 and how many $1,000. People whinge and whine about that. So he tries to do the right thing, and next thing people are whinging, whining.
And boy,
jobs.
That was a quick turnaround, though, wasn't it, Ron? I mean, 1 minute he's saying I'm settling into both these roles perfectly fine. Do you think he's had, a bit of a tough conversation with a senior at New Zealand First who's then gone and been like, mate, this is a bad look? Which I still don't think.
Yeah, look, I think absolutely that, and I think Jamie's Jamie's done things with all the right intent, the good intent. I don't want to cause a by-election. I know I'm going to step down. Let's wait till October. Then there won't be a by-election. They'll just carry on one councillor short, and that's fine. But of course, the whole public, furore thing, the backlash thing comes up. The trolls come up. The left-wing media come up, and they start attacking. The party says, "Hey, this is untenable. We got to do it." And in a week when I've heard Nicola Willis on radio saying she's donating a pay rise, and Chris Luxon's donating a pay rise, and this is what public pressure does to those in office, and it's quite frankly one of the reasons why so many good people won't stand for public office, because they can't be bothered with this crap.
Do you think it shows a bit of a lack of support though from parties, from New Zealand First, or can they not be blamed for going, right, this is a distraction? We're just going to...
No, I think they read the room and they say, look, this is a distraction. Jamie, no, you're trying to do the right thing, but, this is not going to go to bed unless at least where you do something. And so the conversation's had. It's a pretty swift turnaround, as you said, but let's talk about it, because Ben, there's a lot of conversation about whether people can do councillor and MP, and particularly then it became real snarky around list MPs. So I want to talk about list MPs and people like Jamie who are list MPs, because I was a list MP, and I suffered the ridicule from people who were constituency MPs who I competed against in elections, and they always classed us, and the public tend to think list MPs are second-class MPs. There are some list MPs and some political parties who deserve that sort of scorn, because they don't do screw all. And there are other parties like New Zealand First, my party, who try to do the right thing and open offices within the electorates in which the list MPs resided. And I took on casework in Christchurch Central for years down there. I think 3-4
Did you ever get criticisms for doing a bunch of jobs at the same time? Because it would seem to me that you've always kind of done a million things at the same time. Did people have a go at you and say, Ron, mate, you're doing too much, stop being greedy?
There would have been criticism if I tried to hold the mayoralty and stayed on as a minister. I quit all of my iwi jobs because I personally didn't feel that I could do justice to both, because I'm a pretty much a bit of a workaholic. Once I get into a job, I throw everything at it. People are not unused to getting emails from me at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I think people like